What's in the chat?
What's in the chat? Remember?
I'm
Hey,
totally not ready, but I can do it.
Mark, do you remember the time when we did this show by ourselves?
And we didn't even have a guest one time.
What? Oh,
Yeah.
I've got a really good guest coming up.
Oh, tell me. Or can you tell me?
Well, I don't want to say it just in case he says
Okay.
no
Is
at
it
the
a
last second.
man?
It is, yes.
Okay. Well, that cuts it down to like what, 49%?
He's a former Atari employee.
Ooh, I like that.
Also worked for a little company called Imagic.
Oh, I love Imagic games.
Me too.
They
They
were
made some of the best games.
dragons run across the bridge. What do
Yeah.
you call it?
What, Dragon Spirit? Dragon
Spirit?
something or another?
Oh my God, how can we not remember that?
I don't know. I'm having a total brain fart.
Dragon Ball Z. Wait, no, that's not.
I'm going to look it up. Imagic Games. Atari. Wait, you got to spell it right.
I Imagi.
Demon Attack was one of my favorites.
Yes, I like Demon Attack.
Yeah.
A great way to start a wave. Where
That was on
your
everything.
right, where half your ship is over here, the other half is over there, and they join together at the top.
Dragon Fire.
Yeah, I think that's it.
Riddle of the Sphinx. Firefighter, Solar Storm, Star Voyager, Atlantis.
I definitely remember yelling at Riddle of the Sphinx every time I got it wrong.
Yeah. Atlantis was good. And Atlantis was like reverse Missile Command.
Yes.
Because you had
You were
the three
shooting
guns
up.
that shot in like a static, one shot straight forward, one shot sideways. It was actually a very clever.
And you were like in a bubble city, if I remember
Yeah,
correctly.
it was Atlantis, the city of Atlantis underwater.
Classic.
Cosmic Arc, which is a great UFO game.
Oh yeah, that's a good one too.
One of the best.
It's funny, they all have a similar kind of feel to them. Kind of like, Imagic games had their feel. Activision definitely had their feel. Like, how many games are you going to round up cattle? Oh, that's a great game for the Atari.
Barnstorming.
Yeah, Storm the Barn.
Fishing Derby. Yeah, Fishing Derby. That was that was sold to dads.
Dads are like, I'm going to use the Atari for the next 3 hours. I know it's Sunday. Everybody's asleep.
I've never seen this one. Tropical Trouble.
Oh, never heard of that. Tropical Trouble. Nope, not at all. Oh. Okay, now I'm going to go on to our Twitch and find the chat, and then I'm going to bitch about not being
able to find the chat.
It's not.
We should get you set up with OBS, and then you can just sign in at Twitch, and it'll be there.
Ooh, that'd be awesome.
Because I'm sure we can make it work.
Dueling, yeah, why not?
Yeah. We got some people in the chat. We got some Big Bad Brad. We got to have you back on the show.
Whiskey Flippers, yeah.
Apparently, Brad's got a whole bunch of Williams projects in the works right now. Be fun to talk to him.
I'm still on the lookout, Brad, for your turkey shoot. I know Keith Christensen has one that he won't fix, so I think he should sell it to you.
Mike Page is in the chat, Mr. Peabody.
All right.
Whiskey Flipper. And Jay Simonson, 18.
Jay Simonson, 18. That's different from the other Jay Simonson. He's 12.
Jay Simonson, 81. Oh yes, Whiskey Flippers, the Metropolis. I kind of miss YouTube's.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, I did upload the last 2 videos.
Thank you for hitting the button.
Yeah, well, it's more than hitting a button. Otherwise, I'd do it right after the show.
Oh, okay.
It has to finish processing, and then by that it's the second day, and then I forgot, and then the weekend comes. And
weekend, yeah, those are fun.
Tomorrow I have the day off. I'm gonna try to work on some stuff. I'll talk about that in a minute.
Me too. I like bringing back a dead game that's been dead for over a year.
Oh,
I want them all to be dead for a year so that I can feel that rush.
it is cool when you. It is terrifying when you turn on a game and it doesn't come on,
Right.
or it comes on and then turns into smoke.
Oh, I haven't had that.
Yeah.
Turns into smoke.
Oh, it's funny. Ninjapolis says he doesn't miss us on YouTube. There's way less lag on Twitch. I agree with that.
That's cool.
Yeah, I remember we do much better with no lagginess on this. Plus, I've tweaked the streaming a bit on our end, so hopefully that's helped. So, oh shoot, nice. I forgot to make a thing for Aaron.
You got to make a thing for him. Wait, we don't have one from. I think he's a third timer. I think this is his third time on the show.
I don't think. Yeah, I think it's his fourth actually.
Oh my God! I've been saying it's the third. How rude.
I actually believe.
Mm-hmm.
It is. I'm looking right now. I don't think. Man, I don't even know if I have a logo. I mean, it's funny. I know I've drawn a logo for him and stuff.
Uh-huh.
Where in the hell? Okay, I gotta.
You gotta get your action on, and I'm still trying to find the pop out for the chat. Damn it! Where is it?
Maximize your window. It's at the bottom.
Is it?
Yeah.
I see this. I see the channel actions. I'm in mod view. That's the problem.
Oh. No, I've got a dog that's whining back here. I hope that doesn't go on the whole show.
It sounds like a fun dog.
He's very needy.
I got a dog like that.
I'm dog sitting.
Oh, you've got multiple?
I have 2 dogs. Right now. Oh boy. I'm going to need to do this while you're talking or something.
Okay. So let's see, everybody. What can I talk about that I'm not going to talk about what I've been doing?
Well, I mean, we could just get to... Whoa. What was that?
That sounded like a reminder sound.
An eBay sound.
Oh, yeah. By the way, speaking of that, TV that you got, I've been like waiting for the dude to put up another one. He said he had another one. He's not done it yet.
Oh, no.
I think I missed out. I lost that auction, by the way.
Oh, how much did
it was a battle. I think it went up for $330 to $350, somewhere in there.
Wow. I feel very good that I got mine for $225.
Amazing. Well, if you get tired of it, let me know.
I mean, it's sitting back here. I'm so excited to do something with it. I'm hoping... I did dig out my Blonder tongue yesterday, and I plan on setting up a video source for it. So Channel 6 will be operational in my house pretty soon.
All right.
So if you're driving by the Adams household, you can always slow down and tune in on your ancient television to Channel 6.
Yeah, you should. I want to do a Christmas show outside of my house and then tell people, go get your TV and then bring it out here. And then, nobody can do that.
I've been considering doing a super negative show that all it is me bitching about people's auctions for 10 minutes. I'm going to pick the latest auction that I'm irritated with because of either the photos are crappy, or the listing is got full of spelling errors, or they have
Why limit it to auctions? Let's do it for Craigslist and Facebook Marketplace.
No, that's what I mean. Anything for sale.
Anything. Oh, I see.
Yeah. So, for instance, I've recently got an offer from somebody.
Do they want to hook up with you? What do you mean an offer?
No, I have a watched auction.
Okay.
And so people can see that you're watching, and then they did, and sometimes they'll make an offer so that you're interested in maybe buying it. So let's look at this auction, okay?
Okay.
All right. It's normally $34.85.
Uh-huh.
This is for a vintage Sony Mega Watchman. All right. It's complete with box.
Are you sharing this for everybody in our chat?
No, I'm just describing it.
Okay, got it.
You can go look it up if you want.
This will make sense on the podcast, so I appreciate that.
Yeah. So anyway, it's $34.85 plus $18.90 shipping. Right? Okay, not a terrible deal in the first place if you collect old TVs like I do, right? And I have a few Watchmens, so I've been kind of keeping my eyes out for ones that I want. This is one I don't want, but I watched it anyway. I wanted to sort of see if it sold and see what it sold for, etc. So the guy sends me an offer.
Okay.
The original asking price, $34.85. The seller's offer, $32.85 for a total of 5.74% off.
What?
What a deal.
Uh-huh.
First of all, that doesn't even cover the fucking tax, you idiot. Also, it doesn't cover the fucking tax. Like,
right.
What's the point of that offer?
I still don't understand where the tax is going.
Well, it's going to your state because now they have to charge for state tax.
It's really weird though that they kind of take you out of the process where you're paying the tax, but Blockbuster, eBay is like, I'll just pay that for you. You're good.
No, it's just sales tax, just like any other store. You go to check out, and there's whatever your state is, 7%, 8%, whatever it is.
Right. But I mean, like when I sold stuff, I would get the tax would be collected, but I don't get it to give to the state.
No, because so they're the retailer. You're just
they're the retailer.
Yeah. I mean,
it's like consignment.
Yeah. And they're also charging you a fee at the end of the auction. So by the end of the auction, you've lost tons of money.
My eBay account was opened in May of 1997. How about yours?
Oh, let's go take a look.
And the eBay auction I've been trying to make an offer on is for a 7-foot by 3-foot original light up Blockbuster video sign.
Oh.
It is gigantic.
Interesting.
It's in Houston. I've made 2 offers because I have one left. I think the first offer was like an FU offer of $1,000.
How do I look at my
that's
oh, here we go. Feedback. I have 1,387 feedback.
That's pretty good.
And 0 negative feedback.
Nice.
That's pretty. Yeah. I hear dogs.
My wife is home. She's been out with my niece, who's a teacher, an art teacher, and they were setting up her classroom.
Oh, that's quite annoying.
Can you still hear them?
Oh yeah.
That's mostly Barry. Hey Barry, shut up!
How do you go to the end of your 200 pages of? There we go. Yeah. Great emails, super fast payment.
The guy selling the sign, his name is hit.je.xb7rakn6h. It sounds fake.
So, back when I started on eBay, there was you did not have to associate feedback with an auction. You could just give somebody feedback.
Okay.
So
really?
Yep. So my very first feedback is on item number 0 from a good friend of mine who said, "Great person to sell to, prompt payment, highly recommended. Thanks, Adam. A+."
Nice.
That was a long time. 96?
Oh, man, you've got me beat.
I don't even know how to look. There's like no way. What does it show when you registered?
But if you got something in 96, I think you're pretty good.
It must show. I don't know where it does.
And we can figure that out during the show credits.
Oh yeah, it's almost 7:30. We got to hit the button.
Hit the button.
All right.
We're doing it.
Live from KOIR Studios in Minneapolis, Minnesota, this is RcadeRadio.
Hey-oh! Oh, I just blew the speakers on that one.
All right.
Thanks for listening in from the Arcadosphere. This is Season 6, Episode 19 of the Arcade Radio Podcast. Today is Thursday, August 4th, 2022, and the time is approximately 7:30 p.m. Central. I am your host, Adam Peter Pan Peanut Butter. I'm joined by my co-host, Mark Reese Shields, and last and least, Paradise Arcade Shop proprietor and part-time peanut butter connoisseur, Brian Thurston Howell the Third is not going to be with us tonight.
At all?
At all.
Wow.
We might have to check the voicemail.
Do you think he left a voicemail?
Well,
yeah, I think he did.
He said he might leave a voicemail. But I doubt it. He seems very busy. I don't know. Anyway, joining us tonight, he's the first guest we had on 3 times in a row. Soon to be the 4th. Ladies and gentlemen, a warm round of applause for Mr. Aaron Reid, CraftyMech. Oh, yeah. That's a golf clap.
Golf clap.
All right, he's going to be updating us on a couple of BitKit projects, as well as, I believe, ice cold beer.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it would have been nice to have Brian here. I think this is the second time Brian's missed a show with Aaron.
Interesting. I wonder what's the meaning behind this.
I don't know. What is the meaning of this? I don't know. But doesn't it sound like something like? Doesn't it sound like kind of like Brian has been missing from? I want to say he was not here when Aaron was here last time. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. He is doing some fighting game community thing with a fight stick.
Oh wow!
Evo. He's at
right.
Evo for fans of Evo and that are in our chat, which I don't think. Let me just look. Oh yeah, nobody from the fighting community is in the chat.
Nope, they're all. That's why the numbers are so low.
they're all
Wait,
like
no. Is it?
Oh look
No.
at we got Jabruga in the chat right now. Oh, and
Fuck.
Andy C. Hey, look at this. A bunch of people joined us. This is great.
Nice, thanks guys.
We did lose our a couple people. They're like, screw this. This is a boring show anyway.
Oh man.
Oh, speaking of boring shows, well, that's not a really good segue because I actually like it. Have you been watching the Orville?
No, still not yet. I'm.
It's done now.
I gotta start.
They've released all the episodes.
I missed the second season, so I still have to watch that.
Huh. I don't think we could be friends anymore.
What is it? What? Here's what I was watching today during lunch. Beavis and Butthead has a new season that came out. Do you like Beavis and Butthead?
I don't think it's a new season. Isn't it a movie?
They put the movie out a month or two ago. Today they dropped a new season.
Oh. Yeah, no, I'm not interested in that.
It's so good. The first episode, they go to an escape room. And the best part is the guy's like, just go down the hall and turn to the right to go to the escape room. And so they go down to the hall and turn left because they're idiots.
Yeah.
And they go into the bathroom and they think that's the escape room. And they can't get out because it says pull, but they're pushing on the door to get out.
That's funny.
It's so good. So good. And then the second episode is just Beavis and fire. Like Butthead is not even in the episode.
That's interesting.
He finds
I don't.
So good. So good.
I just don't think that I'm.
You're not built for this.
No, I don't think I am. I think when I was 20, I was barely built for that show. Cornholio was very funny.
Yeah.
Candles. I did like the jokes during the music videos, which I doubt they do because
they do, except for now they're doing it not only in music videos but also TikToks. So in the first episode they did a TikTok, and then the second one they did a music video from some country singer, and it's so good.
Okay, I might try it. I don't know. I don't have I'd rather watch the Orville, actually.
Oh, yeah.
It's a little higher brow, I would say.
Yeah, this is definitely a 20-minute time killer, not a
No.
not something for elevated viewing.
No. The last episode, or episode 9 of this season's Orville, shocked me.
Oh man,
which is hard to do. I did not expect that plot point to happen, but it did.
Dang it! What happened? Somebody touched somebody's
You better
wee-wee?
watch the show, because sooner or later you're going to find out. Somebody's just going to frickin' tell you.
Are they? I'm not on the Orville TikTok, where people are spoiling.
It does not matter. It doesn't. Okay. It'll be on Facebook or something.
Is a Family Guy character on the Orville? Is that what's happening? Is that...
No.
No. Oh, damn it. Okay. Hey Sam, Adam says we have to watch the Orville. Oh, there we go.
You feed Ariel? Okay, I'll feed her. Thank you.
She's gonna feed the dog. What's up?
Oh my God, this cord's gonna murder.
Watch out! She almost fell over the hard line. You know how I have to wire.
Shoot. All right, we don't have gadgets, but we do have to be ready in about 20 minutes. So let's get going.
Let's sail through this.
Yeah. What you been working on?
Last night my Tempest has been down for a year, and I got tired of it not being on. So I went into the back. I looked inside. I saw that I had a really old, kind of crusty Big Blue. I have extra Big Blues. Replaced it. Nothing. Okay, I didn't expect that to fix it. I just made it. It made me feel better. And then, oh, by the way, when you take your Big Blues, do you keep the screws from the old one and then use them on the new one, or do you try to fit the new screws on? What do you do? Is that you don't know?
I haven't done it in a while, but I remember the posts not being particularly long for all the big. Are you buying the ones from Arcade Shop?
Yes.
So they're actually blue now.
Well, they were blue and now they're black. So I think I found like a stash that I had bought. Like, I'm going to buy 10, and now, that way I'll have them.
They just switched to blue.
Did they?
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know then.
Yeah, so I think they've solved that problem with the new posts.
Okay.
Anyway,
so yes,
it doesn't matter. You can use the old ones. It doesn't matter.
Anyway, I was going to look at the linear power supply because there was everything, all the voltages look great, and I put the PCB in, and then the voltage drops to 1.4 volts.
So the AR2?
Which one? AR2, yes.
Yeah.
I pulled the cap kit out. I have an AR2-03. That's the one that's a little juicier.
Mm-hmm.
It's got a little bit more oomph, for missile command, and I forget what other one uses the weird memory. Champion? No.
Missile Command doesn't use an AR3, but
No, it's an AR2-03.
Oh,
that one has a higher amp output as far as the voltage.
Sure.
So, and it was about 42 pieces, and I was like, I don't want to do this, and so I went on to the Clove, and then I looked up Andrew B. And I found that he said that, most of the stuff on the AR2 doesn't get that hot. You don't need to replace it. The only thing that fails with great regularity is the 2N3055 voltage regulator. So I replaced... What's that?
That's the big-ass transistor in the middle of the heatsink.
The one that's attached to the gigantic, huge piece of metal.
Yep.
Yes. I did it, and then Tempest fired right up.
It's interesting because I've never had one of those go bad. Although I have replaced them,
yes,
just as a precaution. But
so my Battle Zone, which also has the same transistor, for some reason the voltage drops a little bit after some gameplay to the point where I can't, fire buttons aren't sensing. And I think that's the same chip. You know what? I'm going to replace that damn chip on every Atari game I own that uses an AR board. I'm just like, what? And you have to watch out because there's Chinese knockoffs of this chip where they just.
That's been a thing so I would measure the voltage first.
Oh yeah, I did. I mean, for the Battle Zone.
No, I mean before you preemptively replace it. I mean, just measure the voltage and let it sit for a minute, and if it fluctuates, then change it. But I don't.
Well, that was the problem. I checked it without load. It was perfect, 5.1 or 5.05, depending on how I tweaked it.
On Tempest?
On Tempest, that's how I had it with no load, with the PCB unhooked.
Okay.
and then I put the PCB in, and it drops down to 1.5.
Yeah, that's terrible.
Yes.
Yeah, that's actually good to know, though, that you need to put it under load to see it fail properly. I mean,
another Andrew B. like Clove thing. That board should never go away.
Andrew, I love that guy.
He used to be on our chats, I think, didn't he?
Yeah, I kind of wonder if this other Andrew is not him.
Oh, I don't know.
Andy SAE0.
Indecent proposal? Is that you, Andy? I don't know.
No.
The chat's quiet.
Yeah. Okay, so
what are you working on?
Oh, I got my RAM from China.
RAM.
I made I bid on some fire truck RAM because I was having that problem where every once in a while, turn on fire truck and it'd say go fug off. Literally, that was the error message. GOFUG 0FF. Go fug off.
Somebody changed the text on fire, to make it say dirty words, I think, but.
Well, I replaced the 4 RAMs today, and it fired right up.
Yeah!
So, no, I hope that fixes it. I kept the other ones because I'm pretty sure it's just a problem with one of the legs on a pull that's not quite making contact correctly. And I probably will end up needing it at some point. I know Brian's got a RAM tester. I might buy one of those because, I don't know. But
they're cool.
It's expensive RAM because it is obsolete.
Oh, yeah.
I'd love to. Brian tells me, because he's done all this stuff before, that we could modify other RAMs and put like little socket adapter in there.
Right.
So maybe we can do that because they ain't. None of these RAMs are available on eBay, and they are expensive. I bought 10 to the tune of $60.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Which is a deal. Believe it or not, that's a deal. I pulled the beautiful G07 burn-free monitor from Gorf last week.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Was that one working or?
Yeah, it's going to go into Journey.
Oh yeah.
It's very nice. Also, I'm going to be working with Brian on a new tape cassette replacement board. I mean, he's already built it. He's going to be giving me one that I can populate and test out.
Sweet.
Yeah, so that's cool. I was going to do the control panel last weekend, but I'm going to do it tomorrow. And I'm sad because Chris Peabody did this wonderful job patching up this Journey panel, and I had it powder coated, and I'm going to have to cover it up with some artwork.
Well, I mean, the edges are still powder coated in the bottom, right?
It's so beautiful, though. I mean, like, you put it on the machine the way it is right now, and you just want to leave it. You just because it's like a chrome powder coat. It's really
maybe you could make an arcade where you just have black control panels with nothing on them, And
this is much cooler than black.
Okay.
It's way cooler. Anyway, it's gonna look great. And it's warm enough now that I can throw the artwork on in the sun, and it helps to have the heat to keep it from cracking right away.
What's your ambient temperature outside now these days?
85.
Oh, nice.
And it's the dew points dropped, so it's actually been very nice.
Lucky.
Although 2 days ago it was 102 heat index.
Well, it was physically 105 with 115 heat index here the other day. I knew something was wrong when the fan was blowing like a hairdryer on me.
Oh, that's gross.
I was like, is the fan's heat mode on? And my wife's like, there is no heat mode. And I'm like,
You guys have air conditioners in Texas? Do you have like swamp coolers? What do you have?
Yeah. Did you ask a question?
Are you still
in Texas? You went too fast. Slow down.
Do you have air conditioners in Texas?
Of course. Yes,
or do you
absolutely.
have swamp coolers? Or
we should. You have to actually be very careful about the drainage for the air conditioner.
Yeah.
Because that water has to go somewhere.
Yeah.
That's how come my attic, had a collapse.
Yeah.
Which I did buy a 4x8 piece of sheetrock. They are very heavy. I'm gonna have to invite a friend over.
Oh yeah. Phone a friend.
Phone a friend. Okay, hold on.
All right, we should move on to the news, and then we should probably get things going, I suppose.
Okay, let's do it.
Arcades, pinball, industry alumni, arcade openings, selected, celebrities, world record holders, operators, coin-out, conventions, the Arcade News.
We interrupt the ventilated electric.
And now, the Arcade News with
Adam Stevens.
Hey guys, it's me, Adam Stevens, here with the news. From bleedingcool.com, or just us, because I looked it up today myself, New Wave Toys has revealed a couple of new awesome toys. And for those of you who may have forgotten, we had guests on from New Wave Toys last year when the Qbert was released, along with Warren Davis. That was a good show, so check that one out. But New Wave just revealed 2 new additions to their line of miniature replicas with a Food Fight arcade and 2 Coke machines. So first of all, the Food Fight comes in 2 flavors. It comes with the yellow T-molding or black T-molding, and so does the Coke machine. No, not T-molding, but it comes with either a new Coke or regular Coke. Mark, which ones did you get?
I bought the yellow T-molding Food Fight and the new Coke, fridge. And it's a fridge, right?
Yeah, apparently you can have 2 whole cans of Coke in there. And actually, all their stuff is top grade, really awesome stuff. We've both shown our replicades on this show. I love my Dragon's Lair. I ordered another Dragon's Lair because they had a new one come out, and a Space Ace.
Same here.
I just love them, man.
I love waiting too. 2023, where are you?
The Food Fight looks amazing, and I will probably never own an upright of that, so that will be a fun little one. And a lot of these are coming with the HDMI out, so you can plug them into your TV and play them. And usually there's a USB connector, so you can hook up an arcade controller to it, like 8-bit do or something like that. So very cool stuff. And they continue to make top-notch stuff. So Food Fight is a fully playable 1/6 scale arcade game, so that's pretty substantial. They stand over a foot tall, and every detail is in there with down to the 25-cent mechs. Little tokens that come with it. The manuals comes in a shipping carton. The thing, it's just all done so well. So I can't wait to see the Coke machine because it has all the Coke. It'd be cool if you could put little Sprite logos and stuff in there too.
Oh my God, that's great!
And so I don't know if they'll come out with that, but they've done a lot of mods for their other stuff, like extra control panels and their M90 big power replica boombox comes with aluminum. You can get colored aluminum dials that you can change out, and just cool stuff like that. So they continue to do a great job. So that's awesome news. Also, there is a Arizona is having an expo this weekend that Warren Davis will be at. Speaking of Warren Davis, have you heard of this, Mark?
Warren Davis, creator of Qbert.
Yeah. So
Yes.
Game On Expo, August 5th to August 7th at the Phoenix Convention Center. Check it out. I love Check it out. Have you seen the show Check It Out on HBO? It's freaking hilarious.
Check it out. Oh wait, no.
All right, let's check it out. So yeah, anyway, check it out. I love John C. Reilly. He's so funny. Dr. Stephen Brule. Oh my gosh. If you haven't seen Check It Out on HBO, check it out.
Check it out.
There's actually it's got 4 seasons or something, doesn't it?
I didn't know that many. No.
Oh yeah, it's good. It's so
Has HBO left that show on there, and now they're completely desiccating the whole thing, or wait, they're decimating it. They're not desiccating it.
What do you mean? What are they decimating?
So Warner Brothers was just purchased by Discovery, and they are doing all sorts of crazy stuff. They made them shelve the Batgirl movie that they were making.
Oh.
With Michael Keaton, and so it's complete. It will never come out.
Okay.
They're going to tax write off that.
Huh.
And then some other stuff that they made, they're also shelving. It's totally bizarre.
All right. Well, I'm gonna save this next one for next week.
Yeah, that seems fair.
Mark, over to you.
All right.
All right. Here we go.
Back in '82, I used to be able to throw a pigskin a quarter mile.
Back to the Cade with
Why are things so heavy in the future? Is there a problem with the Earth's gravitational pull?
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Back to the Cade. Today, we're honoring a gentleman of cinema. That's right, actor David Warner.
Oh, I wanted to bring that up.
It's so sad. He starred in films such as The Omen and Tron. He passed at the age of 80 from a cancer-related illness. He was also known, and this is funny because I can't remember him, for playing Billy Zane's villainous sidekick Spicer Lovejoy in James Cameron's 1997 blockbuster Titanic. I don't think back to that particular role, but this obituary was like, yes, Spicer Lovejoy. I'm like, what the freak? He recently appeared as a naval eccentric Admiral Boom in Mary Poppins Returns. That's a good time. That's a good one-time watch. He passed on Sunday at Denville Hall, a care home for those in the entertainment industry. Many may recall his character, photographer Keith Jennings, who met an inglorious end in 1976's supernatural classic The Omen. Is he the one that had the spike, show up above his head? Remember that?
No, I don't remember.
Oh, you don't remember that? Oh, it's classic, man. So classic. He was asked during an interview if he knew what happened to the severed head that they had made for him in the movie, and he said that he lost it in the divorce. Warner also played Bob Cratchit in George C. Scott's 1984 adaptation of Charles Dickens' A Christmas Carol, noting it was a pleasure to play a character that was not a villain for a change.
He does play a lot of villains, including my favorite villain.
Yes, exactly. Sark from Tron.
That's my second favorite villain.
So good. Very good. He actually had roles in Doctor Who, the original Twin Peaks, and he played various characters in the Star Trek franchise.
Yes, he was actually Chancellor Gorkon in 6, and he was the Earth Ambassador in Star Trek 5.
5, right. Exactly. It's funny how he goes from the worst movie to a pretty great movie.
And actually, they just brought up, they had cut a big scene with him in it.
In Star Trek 5 or 6? No, 6.
In 5 to shorten the film.
Right.
Which I'm not sure that it either hurt or that there are Star Trek 5 actually is a big argument amongst my Star Trek fans, friends. A couple of us really like it, and especially when you compare it to something like Star Trek Generations or Nemesis. Both of those are quite terrible. But
I've read the Star Trek 5 novelization, which I love.
Yeah,
I read that many times.
It's a good. It's a good story. The director needed the help.
Yes, he did. Don't make your first movie a major motion picture. Make a small film first, please.
The only reason he got to do that was because
he's like, I'm not doing any more movies unless you let me film one.
Well, I don't know if you know or not, but since the 60s, both William Shatner and Nimoy had an equal clause in their contract.
Oh, interesting.
And so by that time, Leonard Nimoy had already directed 2 Star Trek films quite successfully.
So Shatner still has one more in him.
Exactly.
Oh my gosh.
Wouldn't that be great?
I know. Let's let him know that if we see him again, okay?
He's a little senile these days. I don't know that it'd be good for him to direct.
Is he? I don't know.
He is.
We saw him at a convention recently.
Yeah.
And it's funny, like my wife she had her hair in ponytails and she was being all sexy. And he saw her coming and he's like, oh, hello. And she's like, pushing up against him to get her, get up next to him and stuff. And then we leave and then the next people come in and they're expecting a hello as well, and he says nothing. The lady's like, he didn't say hi to me, you know.
Yeah, I think he's maybe not all there anymore.
Oh well, that's too bad.
I mean,
which just leads me to the question that I have to ask you. Where are you going to put your finger on the button? Where is it? Welcome to the season 6 edition of What's in the Juke. It's the game within a game within a podcast. Today, I like how you do that with regularity. Today, we feature super short isolated tracks from 1987. If you can guess the title of the song, you will get
half point.
If you can guess the name of the group, you will
half
get
point.
Guess both?
Full point.
Brian, in this case, will not be your scorekeeper. I will do it. If you do not know, fight it out. Now that the fighting, damn it! Now that the fighting is over, let's. Okay.
Here comes your first track.
You missed 2 classes and no homework.
Oh, that's a good one. Right out of the gate, that's a good one. They were in a Star Trek movie.
Oh, that's right.
Not this song, but they were in a Star Trek movie.
Were they all Klingons? I don't recall exactly.
No.
We got.
Yeah.
Whiskey Flipper is correct with Beastie Boys, and also he got Fight for Your Right.
Ooh,
full point.
Right out
Full
of the gate.
Point. What's up, Whiskey Flipper?
I learned it by watching you.
Yeah.
Okay, here comes your next track.
What did you think?
Oh, yes. I love that one.
Yeah. It's like he's in the room with you.
I know. I would play that again.
What did you think?
Oh my gosh.
The isolation is
tingle
insane.
there. Like, it's like a shiver down my spine. He's like right here.
Yes, Mike Page with Billy Vera.
Oh.
Half point.
And Andy, it's not You Just Don't Love Me Anymore. Ah, there we go. Agent X83 got us with At This Moment.
Oh, nice.
Half point.
I should know. I feel like I know Agent X83. It'll come back to me.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
Okay, here comes your next track.
You busted.
Oh, that's perfect. That's perfect. Oh my God.
You busted.
You busted. Oh my God, I love that one.
I had to go to the 7-inch vinyl to get that.
Oh, that's great. Come on, you guys can get this one.
It's not Takedown, Andy. It sounds like Takedown.
Shakedown,
yes.
There you go. Very good.
Half point.
And who was the singer?
We still don't have that yet. Let's see here.
Half point.
Not Glenn Fry. Not Bob Saget. Mr. Peabody with Bob Seger.
Nice. Okay, so that's been the Beastie Boys, Fight for Your Right to Party, Billy Vera, At This Moment, and Bob Seger, Shakedown. I don't think you spelled Seger right, but I'm just gonna let that go.
I think there's an A in there.
Cigar.
Bob Cigar.
Next
Bob.
track.
But you never see the end of the road while you're traveling with me.
Ooh, that's nice and garbled.
Yeah, they're not all winners, but
Let's try that again.
But you never see the end of the road while you're traveling with me.
I wonder how many times they had to do this, like in the studio, you know?
I feel like they have a sine wave on some of these songs because when it extrapolates out the vocal, you can hear like a weird, dip and.
Yeah, I mean they're trying to cut out all the other stuff around it. You're gonna get some artifacting. It's I've done it. I did the other day to actually create a new mix from. I have a bootleg Depeche Mode Strikes Again from the 90s. And one of the tracks is really terrible. It's just a 90s remix of one of their earlier songs, and the vocals are stupid low. So I took the original vocals and ripped them out again, and I remixed the song.
Oh, wow.
I'll send you a copy. It's pretty cool.
Oh, I'd love that. Agent X 83 got both Crowded House and
Full point.
Don't Dream It's Over.
Nice. Smackdown. All right. Oh, here comes your next track.
Remember how it used to be.
Oh, no, I don't remember. Let me play that again.
Remember how it used to be.
Oh, this gives me the chills. Oh. Blah.
She is aging well, I think.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely.
Oh, nope, it's not Tiffany. This is her rival. They once had a fight. No, in the middle of a mall.
In the bathroom. Yeah. Anyway, she had an identity crisis for a while.
Oh.
She wanted to be known as...
Deborah.
Yep. So did anybody... and then she finally gave up on that because, Debbie is her identity.
Correct. So we got Debbie Gibson with Agent X83 and Only in My Dreams by Andy SAO.
Half point.
All right. That's awesome. Okay, where are we at with this right now?
Well, right now, Agent X is in first place with 2 points.
Ooh.
And Andy Deo and Whiskety Flipper tied with 1 point. And Mike Page and Mr. Peabody tied with a half point.
Metropolis. I wonder why he can't do that name on Twitch.
I don't know. Is there another Metropolis already?
Well, Whiskey Flipper.
I guess that when you sign up for your Twitch, you're like, I'm just going to use a different name.
I think you can change it like once a year.
Oh, man.
Okay, here comes your next track.
Okay.
I'll do fine without it.
I just ripped this myself. Actually, I did. I just ripped this song. Nut.
Yep. No, you didn't.
This is when they were when there was, and then there were 3.
Oh.
After several successful albums, one of the band members left.
Oh, no. Well, we got it. Andy SAO with Duran Duran and Mr. Peabody with Notorious.
Sorry, that was a half point for both of you guys.
Yeah, good job, half pointers.
Smackdown. Okay.
You're doing Agent X, you're still winning. So he's worried. He's like, my audio is behind. I'm like, refresh.
Oh, should we give him a second to refresh?
Sure, we'll wait.
Okay, let's we'll do a refresh. There we go.
Okay.
All right, here comes the next track. Oh, controversial. That was a terrible rip. That it's the vocals. That's like the worst vocal in the song.
Believe it or not, that was pretty cool.
What? Yeah.
And so that, and if you see the visual of it, it's like a weird, like, from some silence to loudness, from silence.
Oh, I don't know.
So looks like Agent X got George Michael, so he's at 2.5, and
Hey Horror.
Andy SAO got I Want Your Sex, and he's at 2.
Jorge Mical.
Half point.
Half point. And coming up the rear. Okay.
That's what she said.
Sorry about that. All right, here comes your next track.
Yes, my life, why don't you let?
This is the second clip we've had by this lady in 2 weeks.
I know. Separated by many years.
Why don't you let?
Oh yeah, the first one was like 81. Or
right.
Or 80 maybe. Yeah, 1981 and 87, very different musical styles.
Correct. She definitely diverged. I wonder if she was just like, I'm going to try to sound like everybody else a little bit.
I think somebody probably said, we're going to make this lady a record. And then Mutt came around and made her a record.
Oh, I didn't know that he was in there.
I don't know. I mean, if you look up Mutt Lange, he's done so much. I mean,
wow.
Yeah. I mean, he made both of the biggest Def Leppard albums ever.
True. And Shania.
Oh, yeah. He married that chick.
Yes. He was like, I'm keeping this.
Yep.
Well, for the time being. So that was Kim Wilde. Mr. Peabody got her. And Andy got Keep Me Hanging.
Nice.
Oh, Keep Me Hanging On.
All right.
Begin.
Okay, here comes your next track.
I don't care about that.
Well, that's a tough one.
Oh, is it?
I think it is.
It's a retort lyric.
Is that Grace Slick?
What? Maybe.
Oh.
I don't care about that.
Man, we're going to be knee-deep in the hoopla with this one.
Oh, yeah. Let's see how we're doing here. Mr. Peabody got Starship. Let's see who's got
Half point.
the actual title.
Half point.
Looks like it was a neck and neck. Nothing's gonna stop us now. It looks like Whiskey Flipper got that just before Mike Page.
Well,
all right.
Somebody has to win.
Shall we play a game?
All right.
Sure, let's play Global Thermonuclear War. Wouldn't you like a nice game of chess? Later. First, let's play. Fine.
The only winning move is not to play the game.
What is the primary goal?
Next track.
Turn up your radio.
Turn up your radio.
Man, we can't get him to say, tune up your arcade radio.
I could probably do that. With a little bit of work. Bow, bow. I probably could play that track that I remixed because it's not authorized, and it was created by somebody not related to them. DePichi Mode.
Oh.
Okay, here comes your last. Wait,
hold on. That was Everybody Have Fun Tonight by Wang Chung. Everybody keeps typing Want Chung. I'm going to give it to the first person who said Want Chung. It is Wang Chung, Mr. Peabody. You are now ahead by 3. Yeah, you're in first place by 3.5 points.
Ooh. I mean, you know what that means? There's a big fight coming up.
That's right.
Fight like a robot.
This is technically the 11th song. I made it for a tiebreaker, but I think we should do it.
All right.
Write it out, everybody!
Fight like a robot.
I never seem to find what I'm looking for.
Wow. That guy's got pipes.
Yes. Yeah, there's a lot of people who teach you how to sing like him on YouTube.
I never seem to find what I'm looking for.
That's right.
Wow.
I never seem to find what I'm looking for.
Wow.
Oh, looks like Agent X got it. Whitesnake, here I go again.
Full point.
Nice.
Well done.
We should,
I'll give you the so it was a tie, a two-way first place tie between Agent X and Mr. Peabody.
Oh, wow.
Followed by Andy in second, Andy SAO, and Whiskey Flipper in third, and Mike Page with an honorable fourth place.
Wow, thanks for playing, you guys.
All right, everybody exits in the back.
Hey, is Aaron here yet, or should we do a call?
Should we call him, or wait? We could check voicemail too if you want. I don't know.
He said he might be a minute or two late.
Okay, that's cool.
He's got he had a dinner date, which is usually the case.
Oh yes, his lovely Mrs. CraftyMech.
Yeah, Mrs. CraftyMech.
Yes, I'm familiar with her. We've been out to lunch with them both.
Oh, cool.
Don't you remember?
She's nice. I met her at
Gringas.
Gringas Stout. Yeah.
Yes.
It's very nice.
For first place, it's been suggested that Mr. Peabody and Agent X should have a knife fight. So if you two can meet up somewhere within the next 5 minutes and have that knife fight. Oh, hey, here's Aaron.
Hey.
Oh, look at that! Just in time.
I'm here.
Well, we have.
Welcome.
Welcome to the show.
Well, thank you. Sorry, I was a couple minutes late. Just got back from dinner.
We were just talking about Mrs. Were you with Mrs. CraftyMech?
I was. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
okay. Excellent. Yes.
Yeah. Yes. Love it is such a level of wonderful thing. Love.
It's so nice.
It's very nice.
17 years, so we're heading towards 20 now. I just turned 50. So
congratulations.
I'm actually kind of depressed right now.
Hey, I'm 50. I'm going to be 53 this month, so you'll be fine. It's great over here. Come on over.
Oh, I don't know. I'm not. I'm not feeling it yet. Maybe I will. But it feels like I was thinking to myself. I'm like, okay, so 50, and the average male life expectancy is what, like 76 now?
Okay, let's just. All right, we're done here now.
Oh, well,
that's like 26.
It's even worse in the United States. So I'm going to have to move to another country.
Oh my God.
I mean, I've been out of high school longer than that, so it's just really like, wow. Okay, I got like 20 good years left, So.
Woo-hoo!
Yeah, 50.
And he's drinking Diet A&W or some crap.
Well, I had some drinks at dinner, so I gotta pace myself here.
Nice.
You got a pacemaker yourself? What'd you say?
What?
Yeah.
Hey, you know what?
Hey, the heart's good. I have no health problems. I'm in pretty good shape. I mean, I'm not saying I'm like 50, I'm gonna die tomorrow, but
you seem pretty svelte. I think that you're,
Yeah. I've been doing the intermittent fasting routine for the last year. It's pretty well.
That is the way to do it.
It's like I do 4 hours on, 20 hours off. So
that's a small window.
From like 9 p.m. to 5 p.m. I don't eat anything. And then I drink a lot of beer between 5 p.m. and 9 p.m.
I have an 8-hour window, but a 4-hour sounds like that's the right spot.
Yeah, it was tough at first, but now it doesn't even bother me. Like maybe about 4 p.m. I'll start to get pretty hungry, but yeah, it's like routine now. I'm pretty used to it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So inspirational, Aaron. I don't even.
That's one word for it.
Talking about my borderline alcoholism and my intermittent fasting and how those work together.
It's called a window.
It's like really knife edge right there.
Well, we decided to get rid of Brian for the show, so you could just.
Yeah, I know. He's driving to Vegas, right? Or he's in Vegas, or no? He was not driving to Vegas. He was driving to a show, Evo. I think the Evo show.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's a fighting tournament show. That kind of thing.
Yes, they're going to use his joystick controller and hit each other with it until.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Yeah, no, I know he's Paradise is they've got great products for that, so that they're big into that. It's a whole like section of the retro gaming community that I know nothing about. Is the fighting tournaments and like Street Fighter. I guess they still play like all those old variations of Street Fighter really seriously, like competitively, and
That's what I hear.
Yeah.
Oh, speaking of hearing, we have one voicemail in the can.
Oh, okay. Well,
should we listen?
I think it mentions Aaron. That's what I heard.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay. I'm gonna eat a little yogurt while you guys do that.
That sounds great.
Right, that sounds. Wait a second. Did I close the window?
Is that yogurt delicious?
I love delicious yogurt.
It's from I think it's a Colorado company, Noosa.
Wait a minute.
Oh, wow.
Or Colorado, maybe. But it's really, it's like Greek yogurt. It's basically like Greek yogurt.
It's Australian yogurt. Look at the can.
Is it?
Yeah, it's Australian. It's good. It's like eating. It's got way higher sugar content, way higher fat content. It's good though.
I like it. Yeah.
We were gonna do a voicemail. Was what I thought.
Did you get it?
No.
No.
Shoot. Wait, I did get it. Here it is.
Did I come in like a train wreck? Or
Thank you for calling 612548 game. This is Arcade Radio. Please leave your message after the tone.
Oh, there's a problem playing this audio file. Huh. Oh, wait, let's try that again.
Unfortunate.
Hey, everybody. It's your buddy, Bob Zarzadek, control panel expert and technician. Hey, I hear you got CraftyMech back on the show again. That's awesome. Where do you keep him like all the other times that you have shows and he doesn't get to come on? Like, do you have a hole in your basement or a special, room that you keep him entertained?
It's actually
it's fascinating. I'd love to learn about where you keep CraftyMech. Anyway, hey, CraftyMech, I've got some games that I think that would be really cool if you could convert them to your FPGA BitKit2. That'd be great, okay? The first game is, when you fly a kite and you go outside, I'd like to see that on a BitKit. That'd be great. I don't know what the ROM looks like, but, that would be, pretty awesome if I could just fly a kite and, do it in the comfort of my home or something, all right? Yeah, and then the second one is a water slide. Yeah, if you could just make that BitKit turn into a water slide, that'd be great. And, because I don't like getting wet. There's a lot of drying, and then you get wet again. It's just not that fun. You know what I'm saying? I think I said that twice now. I'm going to assume now that you do know what I'm saying. Okay, and the third one is jumping from rooftop to rooftop. If you could, somehow create virtual rooftops, that would be amazing. Maybe you could take a bunch of BitKits and, put them together, and then that would represent two houses with roofs. I don't know about the structural integrity, but, I'm just going to leave that up to you, okay? All right, I think that's it. So I'm glad to see they let you out of the hole again. You guys have a great show.
I don't think Aaron knows how voicemail works.
Well,
he's like talking
over. Should we pause
Bob.
the voicemail to let Aaron confide?
We should just we should have like a voicemail 101 with Aaron.
I thought maybe he was done. There was a pause, but I just was excited because
first you listen and then you talk.
Parkour games. There's no games that are about parkour or
flying kites
or water slides.
Water slides.
That's an untapped genre. So
there are games that are about parkour. They're just on iOS.
Right. Sure. We don't count that though.
It's not a real platform.
That's not cool.
It's not a real platform.
Yeah. All right. So apologies to Bob for cutting him off. It was very valuable.
He couldn't hear you.
Yes, but
so Aaron, how voicemail works is he can't hear you.
I know that. I understand that we don't know who Bob is. It's a secret. So yeah.
Right. So with great fanfare, we're going to get on to the next part of the show, which is always a lot of fun, and that's the interview. And of course, welcome back to the show, Aaron. It's always good to have you on. I know you have a lot of stuff to talk about. Let's just start right in with the BitKit. Tell us that you got BitKit 1, BitKit 2, and
is BitKit 1 dead? How about that?
No, BitKit. No, that's a good question. I'll talk to that first. BitKit 1 is not dead. So I didn't set out to make a true sequel. It was kind of a circumstances kind of forced me into it because the chip that I used, the FPGA chip, that's like the brain of the BitKit 1 that I used, suddenly became unavailable in November. So I was about ready to put it. I was trying to put in a new order of 100 boards, and they couldn't get them all of a sudden, and that hadn't happened in 2 years at all. So I looked online, I couldn't find any, and I realized, and I found some details online that the factory where they make them had basically said, we're not going to make those anymore. So it was part of the chip shortage, basically. And I'm a small, business. So I'm not a big business, so I don't get those get those special emails. I don't have like a contact at the company that, that distributor that sends out emails and says, hey, you guys should probably like think about going to a different chip. So I didn't get that. So I had to scramble, and luckily I did find another company that had a lot of inventory, and they turned out to be more of a startup. They'd only been in production for 2 years. They started in 2012, but they just now, the last couple of years, put FPGA chips on the market. They had thousands. They had tons of chips. So I ordered some. I built a prototype. It worked great. It looked like a really good replacement for what I was using. So at the same time, I decided, well, maybe I'll just kind of, up all the specs, kind of like you do when you make something, a new revision. I won't just change the chip. I'll increase the flash storage, and I'll change out a few other things. So that's what I did. And by January, I had the BitKit-2 design. And by March, I had the boards in hand, and by April, they shipped. I think it was April. Yeah,
that's a pretty quick turnaround, actually.
So that's the story of the BitKit-2. It was a mad scramble by me because I needed inventory, and I couldn't build any more BitKits unless I changed up the chip. And just so happened that doing so made the product a better product. But I didn't want to alienate the hundreds of people. I mean, literally hundreds, like 600-700 people that had already bought a BitKit. So that's what I've tried to make clear on like Club and on Facebook and, on the website is that, the BitKit 1 is still alive and it's still going to get updates. It's just that the BitKit 2 was a necessary evil, but a good side. It's an upside for the customer, but I had to do it because otherwise I wouldn't have a product to sell.
All right. So first of all, let's take a step backwards for anyone that might be listening to the show that doesn't know what a BitKit is.
Oh, right.
So,
well, it's an this term FPGA, which has become like more people know what it means now because of the Mister project. I think we've heard a lot about that, and like the company Analog that's made like NES and Super Nintendo consoles, clone consoles with FPGA technology. So, the BitKit is there's software emulation, which is a program you run on your computer that lets you play old arcade games or whatever console games. Well, hardware emulation is basically a chip that can behave like the original hardware did. And, someone like me comes along and looks at the original schematics for the hardware and, figures out how it works and then replicates that inside this modern chip that allows it to behave at a hardware level just like the original hardware did. So that's what FPGA is. It's a technical term, but really it's kind of like a blank slate that you can set up for whatever digital hardware you want within reason. And so when we're talking about old stuff, like 8-bit stuff, that's such ancient technology by today's standard that these small little 1-inch square chips can handle that with, no problem. Now, you want to do like a PS4 or something on FPGA, it's not going to happen because that's a little bit too recent. But I think they've actually, like up to PS1, the console, the PlayStation 1, that's about the limit right now. And the whole point of FPGA is it can be more accurate, and especially I think the big benefit is the input latency can be really low because it's basically your controller is wired directly to the chip. Instead of running like your computer and an emulator and USB and all these different protocols and stuff. So the end result is better accuracy, better response times for your controller because when people play these classic games,
nearly indiscernible from the original hardware.
Yeah, I mean like 99%. I mean you can never get like 100%, especially with sound. Sound's probably a little bit different. That can be the variance because all these different old arcade boards had their own kind of amp setups and analog sound circuits, but FPGA can get you really close. And so that's been my goal with the BitKit is especially older games like 79 through like 83. You can play those on a lot of different platforms and there's, emulation out there you could do. But in terms of like a plug and play board that's JAMA that you can just like plug into your arcade cabinet and go, that hasn't really existed for these games. And so that's kind of how the BitKit got started. It got started with Nibbler of all games, pretty obscure. And I've added some games like Galaga and the Pac-Mans and that are more popular, but the BitKit's also kind of specialized in a little bit of your obscure, not so well-known games that I've discovered during the project that have been great fun, like Anteater. Never played Anteater in the arcades, but I love Anteater now. It's a great game, and so I keep discovering stuff too as I go along. Like there was just a BitKit update for the BitKit2 that added Mappy, which is a well-known game, and I love. But it also added a game called Modos, which I'd never heard of before, which is like futuristic bumper cars where you're like the ship, and there's these orbs, and you have to bump them off the playfield. You run into each other, and you bounce off each other, but you have to bump them off the playfield. And you also have power-ups where you can like jump or increase your power, and you can decide how to use them. It's crazy. I've never played it, never made it out of Japan, but it's a really fun game. So it's like stuff like that I really love discovering as part of this. It's part of the BitKit and now you can play Modus on the BitKit too. You can play Dig Dug 2, which I'd never played before. I know a lot of people hate Dig Dug 2.
I think it's fun. It's more complicated.
It gives you two different ways to do it, and I figured out that you can pump them up, which is the graphic way you like explode things, or you can sink the part of the island that the bad guys are on. Like Fygar's on a part of the island, and there's these little like pegs or rivets in the island, and you can hit those with the second action button, and if you connect them, that whole part of the island sinks. So I started to realize that the levels are like set up where if you know exactly where to go in quick succession, you can like sink all the enemies at once practically, and that earns you like a huge amount of bonus points. So there's like a whole strategy to Dig Dug 2 but that's another game that never made it out of Japan. So we didn't see it here in America, and you could play it in MAME and emulation, but that was a game I discovered through the BitKit and was like, this is great. We're going to add this too.
Nice.
So I'd like to give a rundown of a lot of the games that are supported on this platform.
Sure.
Abscam, Amadar, Anteater.
Oh, you're reading them all. Okay.
Armored Car, which is kind of fun.
Armored Car, that's a fun one, yeah.
Crazy Kong, Crush Roller, which is also known as Make Tracks.
That's right.
Dig Dug 2.
Yeah.
Eek, which is very fun.
It is.
Egor, Eyes, Fantasy Balloon, Frogger.
Fantasy and Pioneer Balloon. Those are two different games.
That's true.
Yeah.
Frogger.
Yeah.
Galaga, Galaxian, which, I mean, Galaxian is one of those games where I don't want to own the cabinet, but it's a really fun FPGA to have.
I think once you spend time with Galaxian, like I still love Galaga. It's one of my favorite games. But I realized that Galaxian is actually the better game versus Galaga. Galaga is more action, more fast paced. But once you get to a certain level with Galaga, you can just run the stages. But Galaxian though is freaking hard. Like, you can't fire nearly as fast, and I mean it's a tough game. You have to really more strategy. Yeah.
Yep. There's a bunch of Pac-Man clones that are supported.
There's a ton of all the Pac-Mans basically except Pac-Mania and Professor Pac-Man. Those are the two that aren't on the BitKit.
Honestly, I don't really care about Pac-Mania. Professor Pac-Man would be fun, but they're also different platforms.
It's a novelty, really. Yeah, Professor Pac-Man. Yeah.
And they're much more complicated platforms than what you have supporting.
Yeah, Pac-Mania is the same platform as Galaga 88, which is Namco System 1, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, so you've got Pac-Mania, Galaga 88. Is Dragon Spirit on that same platform?
Ooh,
I think it is.
That'd be cool.
It's like Namco's first, almost, I think it is 16-bit or right around the 16-bit generation. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they're definitely different. Was Gapless?
No, Gapless is an 8-bit game.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's one I'm also looking at for the BitKit too. I think Gapless is going to make an appearance.
They really pushed the limits with Gapless, I think. That's Galaga 3 in the US, but it's one of my favorites. It's very complicated. It's different. It's sort of backwards Galaga.
I've never really gotten the hang of it. especially after like stage 5, it just gets really intense. You got to like use that up and down movement. Which being Galaga, I'm like Galaga side to side. You can't move up and down. What's this?
Stop introducing the y-axis. What the hell?
So yeah, you got to use that y-axis. I think that plays a big role. Especially when they come in on the stage, because they fly like right at you.
One of my favorite ones you did was Junior Pack, and I just love it. Also, Jump Bug and
Jump Bug. Jump Bug's a great game. It really is.
And Ladybug.
Jump Bug's another game that doesn't have complete sounds in MAME. It's missing like half the sounds. So on the BitKit, I was able to, I figured out from the schematics what was missing and was able to add the rest of the sounds in. So I think it's the only way you can play Jump Bug
without having all original hardware.
Outside of original hardware. Yeah. And it's a fun game. It's weird because the first time I played it, I was like, what the hell am I supposed to do? I'm just like over the screen. It's like, well, you bounce off everything. That's the whole point. You're bouncing. So you're not like driving, you're kind of like bounce driving.
Yeah. Right.
And there's bonuses. There's like a whole hidden scoring system, like with clouds and stuff. Certain clouds, you land on them and you get bonus points every time you bounce on them. So you can kind of like keep bouncing on the same cloud.
What?
Yeah. It's fun. It's a good game. Yeah,
Wizard, Ladybug, and the latest Moon Cresta and Mappy.
Mappy is the most recent update that added Mappy, Tower of Jiraga, Modos, and Dig Dug 2 to the BitKit 2, and then to just the BitKit, I did just release the Mappy update today. So the BitKit's not left out. You get Mappy as well. And Mappy's another game that I didn't really know a lot about, but I tried to figure it out in the past. I'd never really, there's like, what's happening? When can they touch me? When can they not touch me? But now I get it. It's pretty deep, actually, because you can open those doors either way, and you don't even have to be on the same platform as them. You just have to be on the same level. So you can open a door that's like across from you. Like there's a gap between you and that platform. You can still open and close that door. And so, yeah. I know. It's mind-blowing. It'll change the way you play Mappy. It will.
I have Mappy right here. I play it on my little 9-inch color TV that I have right here.
And you can close the doors. Crazy.
Yeah. You can close the doors. Yeah, it's a great game. I've always loved Mappy.
I do have a request. I have a Piranha cabinet, and if it wasn't for you, I would have Piranha to put in there.
Right.
Can you make the game better? I'm like,
it's a fun game though. I think
it's a weird game. The tunnel at the top, or is it the one at the bottom? One of them doesn't work in Piranha. I think you can go through the bottom one, and that works. But if you try to go through the top one, you gotta get stuck. That's just like the game code. The Piranha.
I thought I was just not good at it.
No.
My monitor also needs a cap kit, so there's a little wave. I'm like, am I doing something wrong?
No, that's not you. That wasn't you. That's the game code. You just can't go through the top tunnel. It's a one-way tunnel from the bottom, so it's kind of weird.
I'm going to bring up a subject that I see happen in the BitKit forums. This is a testament to your patience and understanding. But you created this thing that's really cool, and people take for granted what it can do because they don't understand it. And so they ask for unreasonable requests sometimes. Like, can you put, Street Fighter 2 on there? Can you, like, why doesn't it have real Donkey Kong? Why can't you do, why can't you do this? Why can't you do that? People ask all the time for these different games that they'd like to see on the BitKit.
Sure.
And so can you talk a little bit about that?
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Can you talk a little bit about that?
Oh, no. I mean, I welcome any and all requests. I just don't know if I can really service them. It depends on the game. It depends on the platform. I mean, I do try to find, especially for the BitKit 1 now, I try to find platforms that are going to deliver multiple games at once. So the next platform I'm looking at is East DEC0. Because that has, you got Burger Time, you got Bump and Jump, you got Lock and Chase, you got 3 or 4 really, some classic games there, and you've got a couple others that are pretty good but lesser known. And then you've got some crap, but every platform has a little bit of crap. Actually, there's a lot of crap on Deco, but there's like 30 games that it supports because it was a cassette system, right? Originally, Deco was a cassette system from Data East where the operators had literal audio. I think they looked like audio cassettes that they would change out. But Deco is an example of a platform that is really appealing because I can add multiple games at once. Well, not at once, but I mean, once I add the Deco FPGA implementation, I can keep on adding games to it. Whereas, like, if I get requests for XYZ, and I'm like, well, that's kind of a one-off where that was the only game on that hardware, and I have to figure out everything that goes into that and how to do it, how to make it work, and then make it accurate, and then I'm only going to get one game that's going to be added to the BitKit, which is going to make one person happy or two, but I try to find platforms that are going to bring a little bit more to the party. And for the BitKit 1, there's two. There's 2 empty hardware slots left on the BitKit 1 because it has a limit of 7. So right now on the BitKit 1, you've got 5 hardware platforms and 50 games, about 50 games, and 5 hardware platforms. So you got 2 empty slots. So I want to make sure those last 2 are kind of maximized. And so Deco is number 6, and that's going to bring some good games to the BitKit and the BitKit 2. The BitKit 2 has a lot more storage, so it's not a problem. And I have some games in mind that are a little bit more advanced that I'd like to do.
Pole position?
Not pole position. Probably not pole position.
Dang it!
I know. Sorry. But the theme of the BitKit has been 1 joystick, 2 buttons, maybe 2 joysticks. Right. So, I've kind of stayed away from, people have asked for MCR a lot. People have asked definitely for MCR. And it's like, well, MCR gets a little tough because you've got a few of the games have kind of standard controls, but, you've got, the big flight stick with Satan's Hollow or Tron, and things get a little bit different there, but what's that?
And a spinner.
And so I try to stick to like what a standard JAMA cabinet would be.
Right.
Gives the BitKit the most flexibility. You don't have to have a special set of controls or, and I don't want to turn it into like a MAME, super cabinet, with like a flight stick in the back and a spinner in the front, and maybe a couple, like crotch buttons down there that you can kind of bump against. I don't want to be that way.
I don't know about those. So
yeah,
but it's cool because and you mentioned the 1 joystick and 2, a button or 2. If you have a Miss Pac-Man cabinet or a Nibbler cabinet or like a Moon Patrol cabinet, anything with a joystick and a couple like a Dig Dug cabinet would be perfect.
Yeah, Dig Dug. Yeah, you got 1 button there. Or Dig Dug 2 has 2 buttons, but yeah.
Well,
nobody has a Dig Dug 2, so it's okay.
At least with Dig Dug, you've got a pump button on both sides, so you could make that work.
Right.
Sort of.
Yeah, and I've tried to I've mapped the start buttons to action buttons for some games, and for Pac cabinets, it's pretty easy to do. You can actually do that yourself on the harness.
Yeah.
And you can wire your P1 start to be like your button 1, and P2 start to be your button 2. It's a little bit harder on like Dig Dug because they have those little volcano buttons.
But for Dig Dug 2, that's probably okay to.
Yeah, I mean it may work. Yeah, it could work.
But Super Pac on a Dig Dug cabinet's perfect because it's ambidextrous. So if you like to hit the start button on
either side,
the speed button on the left or the right side, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's how it was on the actual cabinet. So, but yeah, I'm reading about the Deco cassette system, and you can see Lock and Chase, and but there's a bunch of weird games here that might be fun to try.
There's a lot of weird stuff on the platform, and there's a few of them that are actually pretty fun. Boulder Dash actually was on. That was a computer game on almost every platform, Boulder Dash, but it's also on the Deco. There's a good shooter on there actually. Astro something.
Crazy Clip.
Oh, there looks like there's a good bowling game.
I don't know about the bowling game.
Bowling.
The standouts are going to be Burger Time,
Yes.
Up and Jump, Lock and Chase. Those are probably the 3 big ones. There's a couple others I'm probably forgetting. But it's an interesting platform. So, and part of getting onto the BitKit is cutting out I know maybe I'll leave it as an option for purists, but the countdown, in a real deco system, there's a countdown as it loads the game off cassette. So you have like this, and MAME even has the countdown, but you can speed it up. So I'm going to cut that out. So you just go straight to the game. I mean, yeah.
Oh, cool.
Because you're not loading it off cassette. This is a modern. This is a modern platform.
Yeah. The bowling game actually looks kind of fun.
It's white. It's very pretty.
Yeah.
It's a nice cream white. It's very nice.
And what do they charge?
For the BitKit 2?
Yeah.
It is $179 right now. $179 at Mike's Arcade, Paradise Arcade, and Arcade Shop. Although there is no inventory right now, they're all sold out. But I have a new order on the way. Hopefully in a couple weeks, I will have those in hand and can ship them out to my vendors by about 3rd week of August.
Would you say your BitKit 2 is selling faster than the 1 this time?
Yeah, I think the 2 has sold really well. And I wasn't planning on doing a new order, but I doubled my quantity, so I've got a double order coming in now. So, but yeah, no, the adoption rate's been really good. They sold out. I couldn't keep my vendors supplied with the initial batch, so that's been great.
Well, let's talk about a tangential project that Brian wanted to talk about, but is not here. And that is that they have a couple of actual production units of ice cold beer.
Yeah.
Coming up here real soon. And so can you tell us a little bit about how your BitKit project played into that?
Sure. I started working with Brian back in November, and we were kind of unsure what approach we were going to take to replicate. They wanted to make a reproduction ice cold beer licensed cabinet. And so we talked about the different options for, we could kind of like figure out the game and just write our own version of that code. And, but then I sat down one weekend and said, maybe I can get this going on the BitKit. And it turned out it took me about a week, but I got the ice cold beer code running on a BitKit that I heavily modified to interface, with different things, because there's no video, there's no monitor on an ice cold beer. It's got to drive motors up and down. It's got to flash LEDs. It's got to know when balls go into certain holes to give you, that one missed or that one worked, And so, that's how that evolved from there. And I proposed to Brian, it's like, why don't we use a board based on the BitKit that's customized for ice cold beer to have all the connections that you need to make the mechanical part of it work. Why don't we do that? And we'll have the actual game code running, not just our facsimile that we kind of figure out from how it works, but the real thing, exactly the same way, including the sound and the way it works. And so that's how that got started. And then we worked together over the fall to get the drive system working, and Brian did some great work on figuring out how to get stepper motors to move really, really fast. Because the original ice cold beer is it's basically like a DC motor that it's not a stepper motor. You turn it on, you turn it off. So you got these belts that drive so the bar can go up and down inside. If you're not familiar with ice cold beer, for listeners, it's a mechanical game where you have a vertical play field. It's kind of like those maze games you would play as a kid where you're trying to balance a marble and trying to get it in a certain hole. That's what ice cold beer is like, but it's vertical. And so the ball rests on a bar that you move up and down, so the ball is kind of seesawing back and forth, and you're avoiding the holes you don't want to go into, navigating it into the hole you want to go into. There's a series of 10 holes that climb the play field into the very top, and the 10th hole you win. And I guess in the original game, if it had the ticket mechanism installed, it would actually print out a little ticket that you could claim a prize, which supposedly might have been a real beer. I don't know. I'm not sure if it really beers away, but so
but it's
so
also
Brian and his partner Tom decided they wanted to reproduce this. They got the license from Taito of Japan, Taito, if you're one of those people, fan, and they're reproducing the actual game. The cabinet is like 1-to-1 spec for the original Ice Cold Beer cabinet. I mean, Brian even chased down the pattern for the laminate. You know, like laminate's a veneer, but it has like a wood grain pattern, and he chased down like the original pattern used for the Ice Cold Beer machines that were produced for real, and they're having that made for the sides. So in all respects, it looks like Ice Cold Beer on the outside and plays like it. But on the inside, it's modern components, and the BitKit technology plays kind of the brain piece of that.
So 2 advantages to this is that these machines will be around and working long after we're dead. Current Ice Cold machines are often difficult for bars to keep working, and yet they are one of the most popular games in the bar because of its motif. Because when we were kids, a lot of us couldn't play it.
I never saw one as a kid. Although the Zeke's Peak, it's like a non-alcoholic version,
right. and it wouldn't have been
will support Zeke's Peak as well. But
it wouldn't have been very, very popular. But with pinball's popularity and all that stuff, I think it was a really good choice for a game to remake. And the stepper motors are like, I mean, they're IKEA tested. It's like the door shut, the door shut, and the door shut, and the door shut.
We spent me and Brian went back and forth on testing, and he spent a lot of time and a lot of different motors and a lot of experiments with the drive tracks to find a system that really is like smooth as butter and works really well. And it's really impressive. I mean, you don't even realize it's stepper motors behind it, because I've worked with stepper motors before, and they don't go that super fast. But I mean, this bar is like, I mean, it behaves just like it's being ran by just straight DC motors on belts, but it has that very precision movement. So, I mean, I haven't played the original game too much, but I've gotten really good on the cabinet that I have here for testing, where you can just shimmy the bar. You can like move the ball basically vertically once you really get the hang of it through this little shimmy, and the accuracy of the controls is really great. So, but the other thing that people complain about Ice Cold Beer, at least in the collector circles, is that once you master the game, it's like done. Okay, well, I figured it out. So what we wanted to do from the beginning was not just wire the same 10 holes that Ice Cold Beer has wired, but wire a lot of other holes too for the sensors, so that you could create new courses from a combination of different holes. So there's, I forget how many exactly, but it works out to like 10,000 combinations basically, where, we can create different courses for Ice Cold Beer other than the regular course that the original is known for. So more challenging, more easy. We've talked about like speed courses, We've talked about like networking, linking units head to head, because it's based on the BitKit technology. So it has the Bluetooth Wi-Fi module on it, allowing 2 machines to talk to each other. So you could race each other like in parallel, or, compete against other people like that way. So there's a lot of potential and ideas that I think it's going to be fun.
Head to head, everybody loves that.
Head to head. So yeah, it's like not your grandfather's Ice Cold, or not your father's Ice Cold Beer.
I guess at this point, yes.
Grandfather.
Yeah.
My brother has, my niece has 1.5 children. So that makes
Just
me.
She's cooking one right now. Is that?
Yep. Yep. It'll be
good.
done.
I thought
4
maybe
months.
it was a living child that was only half.
Oh.
There.
Yeah.
Unfortunate.
Yeah. This isn't the scenario of cutting a child in half. Or anything like that. So.
But yeah, no, we've been working on it since November, so it's starting to come to a head. We're ready to get like a real the production unit ready, So I think that part's exciting. It's gone through a lot of different iterations, and Brian's on your show. Brian, he's very meticulous and very good at the engineering side, the spatial side, and I'm very good at like the code side and the circuit logic side, but spatially I'm not spatially challenged, but I just don't see things how they fit together the way he can mechanically. So the way he's figured out how everything works and will fit together, he's devised the whole play field so that it's really like a sandwich. So you basically unscrew a few things, unplug a few things, and you can pull the entire playfield and all the electronics basically out of the machine, versus like having to take it apart layer by layer to get it out. Because you've got like a vertical playfield, you've got glass in front of that, you've got an LED board behind that with the little LED lights, you've got, the motor driver connections, and so we worked hard on making it very modular so it would be easy to take apart. Because, really he's gearing it at operators and commercial spaces that, if there's a problem with it, they want to be able to just like take it out. And if they need to send part of it back to us, that's easy to do, or to Brian, and they can send him a replacement. And, that's not really complicated to assemble and operate as an operator.
Yeah, it's cool. I think the retail on those is going to be somewhere between $5,500 and $6,000, $5,500.
I'm not sure on the retail side. Yeah, Brian, I know it's not cheap, so it's not really aimed so much at like collectors, although I'm sure hopefully there's collectors that will take part. But
I will say,
it's
I did talk to him about
commercial product for sure, and it's built like a commercial product. It's built robust to last, and endure like that repeated use.
I will say though that and I did talk to him about price, so I know that's right in the range. I will say that is far cheaper. A $6,000 range is far cheaper than most pinball machines.
Well, yeah.
And more. I should have started buying pinball machines like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Even like a Firepower, I was like, I'd really, a Firepower. People have told me it's a good intro pin. It's got the Robotron Defender sounds. It's fun. And at the time I was looking, it was like $1,200, but now it seems it's like $2,000, $2,500. You can't even buy a pen that's not like, a little bit older, like 60s, for under $2,000 anymore. Yeah. And a DMD pen, what are they up to now? Even like your early 80s DMD is like 3,000 or.
Yeah, it's insane. Yeah. I got lucky. I bought a NBA Fast Break for $500. Few years ago.
Wow.
It was in somebody's garage. It didn't have the glass on it, and he didn't realize the on-off button was on the bottom. So.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Well, I will tell you that a mechanical game, I'd never worked on one before, and the process of working in an ice cold beer, it taught me the lesson that a mechanical game is a lot more complex than a raster video game.
Yeah.
Especially with how it works, and a lot more has to go into it, and a lot more thought and design and quality materials too, because there's so much more that can break or go wrong. A raster video game like the Paperboy that's behind you there in the background. Yeah, right there. It's a monitor, it's a circuit board. Nothing moves. Nothing is moving in that cabinet except for the controls. When you get into a mechanical game, like a lot of things are moving. There's so much more that can go wrong, and so much more thought that has to be put into finding good materials and good products to put in it so that it lasts.
Right.
And so anything mechanical is going to cost a lot more money than a raster game for sure.
Yeah. So, any other projects you're working on right now?
I wish you could say yes, but I just got back from Iceland about a week ago. That was fun. Yeah. I went there for a week with my wife for my 50th birthday. It was a great time. I recommend it to anybody who.
What's the highlight of Iceland? Like, what are the top 3 things to see?
Well, I think really nature is like the number one.
Okay.
Because there's not a lot of people on Iceland. There's really not. There's like 350,000 people on the entire island. So, and it's about the size of Colorado or North Dakota. It's not square, but if you could put it inside those 2 states, and it would fit comfortably. But you've got volcanoes, you've got glaciers, you've got fjords, you've got a lot of green. It's just it's a good like escape from the everyday world. Some lava. There's some lava fields. There's some green lava fields. There's some bare lava fields. It's a lot of different crazy landscapes, and it's just, if you like road trips, if you like looking at landscape and driving and not seeing a lot of people and getting away from civilization, outside of the capital Reykjavik, which is like any other capital, there's people there, but once you get out into the countryside, it's just like wide open, and there's a lot to see, and it can get pretty remote, so it's fun.
Cool.
Waterfalls, big waterfalls. Saw some big waterfalls.
Guys,
saw some geysers.
Before we sign off, first of all, stick with us after the outro. We'll give you a proper send off. Do you have any other games you can talk about that are coming, or just we know that BitKit2 will have a new menu system in September and some new
How about
games.
this? Is there a game you worked on and you were like, I'm not going to do this? Forget it.
Yeah, I have looked at different games, but I can't remember them offhand. But there is a game that is coming to the BitKit2 soon that I actually I hadn't played it before, and it's actually kind of fun. It's called Mariner, and it's a scramble kind of takeoff, but you're underwater. You're like a sub. And there's a lot of different kind of takes on that where they bootleg stuff based on scramble hardware. But this is like, I think, the most complete game of all those. And it's actually a pretty good game in its own right. It uses the sounds from Scramble, but it has like a fun twist on it. There's even like little mini bosses you have to fight after the end of every stage. I think it's the same boss every time, but they've got boss fights, you're underwater, there's a gradient. There's like a gradient to the water, so it's not just all blue. It's like dark blue, middle blue, light blue, and there's like a little gradient to it.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, that's coming. That's going to come to the BitKit2 for sure. Because I wanted to add a few more games on Galaxian Scramble hardware, because the BitKit1 kind of ran out of capacity on that core. That's what we call, each FPGA hardware implementation is called a core. And so the Scramble Galaxian core was pretty much at max. There's 18 games on it on the BitKit1. That's a lot of games. But there were a few more that people have requested, but I just didn't have room on the older BitKit to fit them. So now on the BitKit2, I'm going to be able to do that. So Mariner is one of those, and I've got a couple more I'm looking at too that I want to add.
I posted a link to the Mariner, what do you call it, gameplay.
Give it a try and maim. It's not bad. It's themed well, and I think for kind of a Scramble bootleg, it's well done. There's a few others that are they're kind of half baked, but this one was actually like a complete game.
Yeah, it's nice. By Aminip, whoever that was.
Yeah, actually, I think that's who developed originally, and then U.S. Billiards, who you may recognize from Piranha.
Oh, yeah.
U.S. Billiards put out Piranha, and they also put out Mariner. Although they called it 800 Fathoms, so it's also known as 800 Fathoms.
Wow.
So thanks for being with us tonight.
Thank you.
Mark, you ready to do this? We're gonna sign off. Aaron, stick with us after the outro. And we'll make sure we cover all our bases. Okay, and that's when you get your check too. So, all right, here we.
What?
A check. A check. I don't know. Anyway, that's gonna be it for tonight. That's the double R's. That's Arcade Radio.
Feel free to check out our website, RcadeRadio.com. That's RcadeRadio.com for all of our social media and swag links.
Call and leave comments just like Mr. Bob Zarzadek at 612-548-GAME. That's 612-548-4266.
Are you enjoying the show? You should pick up some Arcade Radio swag over at teespring.com/arcaderadio or wherever it redirects you to. Consider supporting our Patreon campaign over at patreon.com/arcaderadio. There's multiple tiers there, and they start at $3. Come on. That's cheaper than like 0.25 fast food meals. Any bit helps us with the cost of running the show.
Yeah, subscribe.
1/8 of a buffet. I mean, come on.
I can't believe I spent $27 for 2 meals at Jack in the Box. What the freak is happening?
You can subscribe to us on our Twitch channel or follow us, or both, and click that little notification bell so you know when we'll be streaming live.
Hey, if you like what you're hearing, you can consider dropping a 5-star review on Anchor, iTunes, Spotify, or wherever you consume our podcasts, but mostly iTunes. Go over there. Yeah.
That's going to be it for tonight's show from the Arcade Radio team. We hope you had a good time, and we'll see you on the next episode.
where we came. Hello?
Say hi to your mom for me.